Welcome to Empowering Chats with Susan Burrell. This is where we have deep, intimate conversations about self-empowerment and future existence. I am an intuitive healer and a light leader who has been called to activate other light leaders. So I'm curious, are you one of them? So by listening, lean in and see if you are ready to be that eternal potential you've been called to be. Using your bravery, your talent, your tenacity, can you be innovative and adventurous in order to activate your light and lead from that place? This is where we learn how to love ourselves from the inside out and love the whole world over and over again. Enjoy the show. Well, hello, January 2025. Here we are. Oh boy. I'm trying to be excited about what might happen this year. I really, really am, you guys. And as I'm trying to be excited, I'm recognizing all those little pockets and pit holes in my heart or my stomach, my gut, that is holding pieces of fear still, even though I really committed to releasing as much as possible. So what is that? What does that mean? So let me explain to you guys what we're looking at in terms of empowering chats for 2025. The theme this year, because we always have a theme, last year it was Be Potential, and a lot of us really felt our potential really unfolding. Thank goodness. But this year, 2025, in meditation, I kept hearing soul growth. Soul growth. Holy moly. I thought we'd grown enough, but evidently not yet. So, in terms of soul growth for empowering chats, we're going to change it up just a little bit, and I'm going to get to that in a minute. But I wanted to kind of riff on what it means to have soul growth. So, first, I'm going to show you this nice shirt my husband gave me. It is a beautiful dragonfly. Now, I have a thing about dragonflies, and I looked up what dragonflies mean spiritually, and they're about transformation and light. And so if you notice dragonflies, start paying attention when you're out and about, in nature or just walking your neighborhood. We have a lot of dragonflies in our neighborhood. When you notice them, that is a sign that you are undergoing some inner transformation and that your light is shining more brightly. So woohoo on dragonflies. So pay attention to them for 2025. They're going to be a guidance system, an external guidance system. So in terms of soul growth, transforming from the inside out, which we talk about all the time on Empowering Chats, transforming from the inside out requires that we continue, especially in 2025, to do our deep inner work, whether it's meditating, walking in nature, and just seeing the beauty and soaking it in, or journaling, or taking classes, or reading amazing books that inspire you and have you think more deeply about your reason for being. And who are you now? That my big question all the time. Who am I now? So in soul growth, the transformation, as I just said, comes from within, but it is a gateway, if you will, to your unification with source energy, to your unification or comprehension of a consciousness of oneness, of that allness, that isness that I choose to call source energy. And in doing inner work, it is about opening your heart where all your inner spiritual wisdom resides. The divine spark that you are resides within your heart, and softening your mind. Every meditation I do, I lead people into the heart and soften the mind, because the mind is an antiquated technology that we had for eons. And while it's still useful, the upgraded technology that we now can access if we really pay attention, is the wisdom of the heart, is the divine source energy that resides within us, that guides us. So that means your intuition, right? A lot of people call it your gut response, going with your gut feelings. But the intuition is, for many of us, becoming stronger. And that is what 2025 is going to be about. Being grounded in our intuitive knowing that there's only one here, in our intuitive knowing that what's happening in the external world is ultimately, you guys, it's ultimately for the highest good of all, for the highest good of humanity. So this last year or two, 4 years, I've been teaching and leading light leader workshops to help individuals begin to really recognize the light within them, and then how to lead from within, how to lead from the inner wisdom, the soul wisdom, not the head wisdom, and not the old way of commercializing or uh, getting more in consumerism, or I was hearing the word consumption on a video, and that caught my attention. Just being consumers, right? We just came through holidays where we were consuming a lot of food and gifts and drink and stuff. So 2025 is really going to be about listening to your soul wisdom and really leaning into being the light that you are, and leading your life from an inspired place of intuition, from an inspired place of light within, because we're all conduits for spirit, right? We all just are that source energy that flows through us. But we can choose to be asleep, or we can choose to become more light, which is what's needed now, and lead from that place. So that means accessing the inner wisdom, and that does take deep, deep inner work. Now, for those of us that have been doing this for years, decades, a lifetime, maybe multiple lifetimes, it does kind of feel at times, I'm going to be straight up, daunting. Daunting, because we've been doing this for so long, and yet the exterior, the external world looks even more worse, even more chaotic, even more scary, if you will. And but the real thing that's happening is all of those structures, man-made mental thought structures, are collapsing. And in the collapse, it looks like things are getting worse. It's not the best way to start 2025 by saying things are getting worse, but it's important to be aware and then do your daily, maybe hourly inner work to be more light, to be more love, to be more peace. Because that is really what humanity is needing right now. So 2025 is also going to be about, for your soul growth, woohoo, healing karmic wounds, wounds that are either from trauma in this lifetime or another, wounds that are keeping us from really feeling the value of our life, the value of our beingness. And so in healing those karmic wounds, one of the practices we can do right now is, again, self-love, self-nurturing. So like, I walk my dogs almost every morning, and I'm trying, again, not trying, I am doing the mantra of I am love, and I love myself, and every step I take grounds me in love. I am grounded in love. And running those affirmations while you're walking or even exercising really does anchor them more deeply, and moves, kind of clears that headspace, and drops it into the heart where love and source energy reside. So developing whatever your self-love practice may look like is of paramount importance as we go into 2025, because the soul growth process that we are in is going to expand exponentially. And that means that those of us, well, all of us, but those of us who are light leaders and aware and developing more conscious awareness, are going to be called to do even deeper excavation, into the shadow side of ourselves individually. Because here's the thing that happens, and you guys know this, but I'm just going to say it again. When we connect to that inner wisdom and source energy, that love within, the value, our worth, if you will, goes up, because we are recognizing that we are divine beings. We are divine beings, everybody. And what's occurring on the earth plane right now doesn't look so divine, it doesn't look so wonderful. But as we do that inner work and recognize and accept that we are divine beings, then those little pockets, like I mentioned earlier, those little fear pockmarks are going to come up, but they're coming up for healing. It's not because we've done something wrong or we've gotten off the track, or, we just sat down and said, I'm not doing it. Well, you could do that. You could say, I'm not doing it, but I'm telling you, you're going to get kicked in the butt and you're going to have to get up and do it anyway. But becoming aware that we're still holding fear or anger in even those smaller pieces of ourselves, that we're being critical of others, all of that, the fear, the anger, the being critical of others, is really what we are feeling about ourselves. Ooh. Whew. So I'm going to ask, what are you afraid of about yourself? What if if you've been working and listening to Empowering Chats for the last year, and it was about being potential, then what are you growing into? What is your soul now growing into? And are you afraid of what that could be? Are you afraid? Good question. And really be honest with yourself. And what if, then move it to the other side. What if I were to become that exact amazing being that I hear being whispered in my ear as I'm falling asleep, that you are that, you are that? What if you just fully embody it this year in 2025? What if the criticalness or the judgment that we focus on the outside world, those people over there, what if we, again, look within and really discern where those dark pockets are, where we are being critical of ourselves, judging ourselves, and then bring in a beautiful wave of forgiveness. Just forgive yourself, man, because it's time. And part of the soul growth is about forgiveness, forgiving ourselves first. It's all about the self first. It's all about us first, the individual. If every individual did some of this work, then the world will become a better place. Then all the chaos and all the stuff that we're seeing and having reactions to will begin to diminish and transform, right? Just like my dragonfly, right? Transform into the light. So part of it is also recognizing what your beliefs and behaviors have been, again, right? What are the beliefs you've been running? And that takes really being honest with yourself, telling yourself the truth. I believe blah, blah about myself. And those are the things that are keeping you stuck. What about the behaviors that you've been doing that every year you go, I'm not going to do that anymore. And then you slide back and you're doing other kinds of behaviors that are the same thing, that are keeping you from being that divine being. It's definitely that hiding your light under a bushel. So the the idea of recognizing what your beliefs are and the behaviors that come out of those beliefs is vitally important, because that's when we're at the choice point. That's when we can shift, change, transform, or focus more on the behaviors that we really want to keep, that we really enjoy being. And it's really this year, I think the soul growth is about all of us really reaching into the trust and faith and belief that we are a divine being, and being that now, just being that. Not, it's no longer about, okay, I got more to learn, or let me practice more, or gee, it's too much, I'm too busy, I don't wanna. It is this year, you guys, it is about growing our into the soul purpose we came in with. And we all, as divine beings, came in with a soul purpose. Some of us came in as light leaders. So really to lean into what a light leader means and is for you. And then the beliefs and behaviors may require ancestral healing, because many of those beliefs and behaviors came from generations in our ancestry, came from generations in our human experience. And to become aware of, we are reacting this way, or I believe that because, gives us again another choice point to simply release it. And I'm telling you guys, you can release it immediately. You don't have to keep walking around with it, but you have to become aware. And then you can clear it. Clear it from your mind, clear it from your behavioral activities, clear it from your routine. So since I'm mentioning ancestral healing, I want to share with you guys, there's lots of classes coming up that I'm going to be teaching. I will be teaching Are You a Light Leader workshop. Again, it's going to be about soul growth. I will be doing ancestral clearing in person as well as online and Zoom. I will be teaching another energy and action class later in the year, and a few other things. So make sure you stay aware by being on my newsletter and also going to the website to see when the classes are. We will have pages coming up in the next couple of weeks in terms of dates and times and how you get to participate. And then also the Insight Timer guided meditations that I have been vital. I have been doing newsletters with a meditation at the end for everybody, so that you have a support system and you don't have to hunt and peck and find out what's that one that you want to listen to. So in envisioning what 2025 was going to be for empowering chats, my team and I decided one of the gifts we'll do is, every solo show towards the end, I will do a guided meditation coming from whatever the topic was for that day. And I'll be doing that in just a few minutes. I want to invite you to also, for 2025, and I'm going to talk about this on another show, envision what your life in 2025 could be. Begin to envision it, because as we begin to see it in our mind, right, it's proven that when we can visualize, better things happen. So envision what you want in 2025. I'm breaking it up into the first 6 months and the next 6 months, just so I can be really clear. And then ask yourself what word you want to be your guidance for the year. I've been doing that for many, many years for myself and with groups that I work with. What's your word for the year? And my word for the year in 2025 is clarity. I want to really continue to develop my inner awareness and my clarity of how I'm feeling, how my body's feeling, how I see the world, all of that stuff. What is the information that's coming in? I want to be clear about receiving it, because we're all receivers in terms of our broadcasting frequencies and vibrations. We also receive frequencies and vibrations. So having clarity about what's coming in and understanding it will be an important guidance tool during 2025. Um, so I have inspirational cards, and I pulled 3 for today as we begin 2025. And I'm just going to read them. You can listen later and or write them down, contemplate them. I always, before I pull my cards or any cards or oracle decks or anything, I ask, what is it I need to know? What do I need to know? And those are good journaling questions too. What do I need to know? Who am I now? What is essential to my life now? Good questions. So here's what they are. These are all affirmations or inspiring quotes I found, affirmations that I wrote and worked myself. So I can tell you these affirmations work. I recognize that any fear I experience, which keeps me from living my life fully, is a false reality I created, and I can uncreate it now. Interesting, since I was talking about fear earlier. The next one is, I am one with life. I am safe at all times. The world is safe and friendly. I am at peace with life. And this last one is from a quote from Pema Chodron. She's an amazing Buddhist monk who's written many books. Highly recommend her books. And she says, compassion practice is daring. It involves learning to relax and allow ourselves to move gently toward what scares us. Move gently towards what scares us. And I think that actually is a great idea, to move gently toward what scares us in 2025 as we do a deep inner work and access our intuitive wisdom that is all streaming from source. Okay. So I'm going to do a short guided meditation, everybody. You can come back to this and listen to it anytime. If now is not the right time to listen because you're driving or doing an activity. But I'm going to make it short and sweet. Okay. So just taking a very deep breath and relaxing. And another deep breath into the heart where love and wisdom resides. And a breath softening the mind and allowing the heart to open even more to the love and wisdom that you are. And begin to really sink deeply into that heart, into that source energy of love, into the wisdom of all that is. And then just ask yourself, what is mine to do? What is mine to do? And then just breathe, allowing whatever comes through your first thought or image to be the truth, trusting and having faith that you are listening deeply to what is yours to do this day. And then breathing into the heart again, allowing yourself to begin to sync up with the high frequency of love, the highest frequency of love, and allow it to infuse whatever information or messages or ideas you've received right now of what is yours to do. Allowing that high frequency of love to expand in your mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual bodies until you're simply vibrating with love. And allowing this to be the seed of whatever it is you choose to do today. And then breathing in, relaxing, and letting go. Coming back to this present moment the room you're in, the chair you're on. And with another breath, simply open your eyes, knowing that this day was made for you. And may you be blessed. And so it is. Namaste. Well, that wraps up our empowering chat for the day. I hope you enjoyed it and found it inspired you to be more empowered. If you want to find out more about me, go to susanburrell.com, my website, and you can see what we're up to. I am teaching classes again, so there's a calendar of that, and you can register. You can check out my book, Live an Empowered Life, a 30-day journey with the companion inspiration cards, or you can access my guided meditations that go through Insight Timer. We got a bunch of stuff on the website. Check it out. And until then, namaste.